I'm Caroline Gentry with Engerati. We're here at the EIT InnoEnergy Business Booster in Paris. And I have here with me today Sperr. He's the Business Creation Manager for InnoEnergy. Hi, thanks for having us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I just wanted to ask you, the title of the Business Booster is Humanizing the Energy Transition. So what does that mean?
That means that we have to, of course, not only take into account technologies and innovations, or the other way around. The basic of all of this is, of course, that you have people that are willing to do the right things and are able to do it. And therefore, that's for the upcoming 2 days the main topic here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, and you mentioned as well when we were talking earlier that there's a possible skills gap in the industry. Is that something that is a problem?
Definitely. If you compare Europe to other regions like the US or East Asia, we definitely have some improvements to make, let's say, where InnoEnergy, of course, works. I mean, we start with education, so very early, but in order to achieve all the very challenging goals we're having in front of us, that would be not enough. So it's also about this generation that has to solve a lot of problems. And yes, what kind of skills, to be more precise, are needed? Definitely technology-related ones, like hardware-related ones. We have a lot of interesting startups here at the TBB too. What we are lacking, clear in comparison to the other regions, is digital skills. Elena, for instance, mentioned in the opening speech, for instance, artificial intelligence as one concrete skill we need, and diversity, of course. Diversity, I think we are good in Europe with all the different countries and backgrounds, but digital, unfortunately, no. There is not so much. If you look at the big players in the world, it's the Googles, the Alibabas, the Amazons. We don't have that. I mean, maybe it's not good to have only monopolies or oligopolies, but definitely we need also big digital players, and that's also one part where I'm focusing on with my work.
And does InnoEnergy have any sort of training schemes or anything like that planned?
Yes, definitely. I mean, there are a few master classes already established for several years now, mainly energy related, of course, but also some professional trainings when it comes to blockchain-based business models, for instance. And there are also upcoming several new education offerings.
And these can be sort of retraining for experienced hires as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as always, I mean, we think global and also network-wise, and therefore our education not only goes for the young generations that are now at the university, but also for the already trained and experienced staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And I think you say that you're also involved in some of actually investing in some of the startups. So what do you look for? If I'm a new startup looking for investment, what would your advice be to get some interest in energy?
I mean, also it's centered around the teams. I mean, it's also a slogan every venture capitalist or investor says, that it's team, team, and team. But if you have a closer look, what are they looking for instance, within their due diligence, it's maybe to some extent also the team, but they go mainly for the technology, for the market potential and all that stuff. And this is, for example, where we as InnoEnergy have not a completely different approach, because also have a closer look at the technology and the market potential, but as a third very important part of our onboarding process, it's actually the team, where we have even a really sophisticated approach developed together with universities and research centers.
Okay. And in terms of digitalisation, because that's what we focus on very much at Engerati, and really the sort of interface between the energy industry and the digital solution providers, How is that changing the energy industry, and how important is it, do you think?
I mean, it is a game changer. It's that counts also, is also the case for other industries. We've seen it now, or we currently see it in automotive, for instance. Apart from the electrification, there are also connectivity, autonomous driving. These are the topics, mobility services. And since we have the convergence of the energy sector and automotive through electrification, also the digitalization is a big part of this convergence. But apart from that, there are definitely a lot of challenges we have that can only be solved digital-wise and not, let's say, hardware-related-wise only.
Okay. And there's a lot of stands here, a lot of different companies represented. Are there any, I know you probably don't want to pick any favourites, but any that you think might be particularly disruptive, any that I should go and visit later?
I mean, we have, as you mentioned or pointed out before, several of them. Of course, I have to state here we have Northvolt, which are already a game changer, I would call them, when it comes to battery cell manufacturing. There are several startups in the pipeline where it will get very interesting. When it comes to digitalization, we have, for instance, one startup that's called Omega Lambda Tech. They're basically data scientists, so they bring one of the most important skills you need with them in their core team. And we at InnoEnergy now work together with them in order to build scalable software-related products out of this core expertise. That's exactly what we do at Business Creation. We take interesting people, technologies, and together with them, we'll then go for the market or the markets.
And any particular sort of area of focus for the coming year, for 2020? What's your strategy?
For InnoEnergy or for the energy sector?
For InnoEnergy specifically.
For energy. I mean, definitely it will be around humans and our skills and the skills. We're also seeing more and more that we have to start early, of course, to foster innovation in a very immature level, immature level, but we definitely have also to generate big guys, like maybe not only unicorns, which would be of course a goal but hard to achieve as we did with Northvolt, but definitely we have to bring more directly into the market. That's very important also from a European perspective. Now we are good in R&D, I mean in general in Europe, but we have to be much better in bringing innovation to the market, and that's one of the goals of InnoEnergy.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.